all stand. City of Ellsworth regular council meeting for Monday, August 26, 2024. Let's say the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We could be careful of side conversations in the back. The acoustics are strange in this room. It really does carry, and we can hear you crystal clear back there. So we just keep that in mind. I really appreciate it. We're going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to, due to a scheduling conflict, we're going to move the Homolka subdivision block 16 rezoning from R2 to R1 discussion. That's the ordinance 3147 to the very first of our meeting, and then we're going to kind of move in order from there. So, Marion, if you'd like to step up to the podium and give us your presentation, we greatly appreciate it.
Well, thank you for inviting me. Before I start, it was requested by the city council that one of the members of the zoning and planning commission attend this meeting. I guess I just wanted to hear from you guys. You wanted us to attend to talk about our decision as far as what to do with the zoning of that block.
Please.
That's right. Okay. So our decision to keep it zoned at zone 2 was for a handful of reasons. One, if it's zoned as zone 2, that doesn't mean you can't build single family homes in zone 2. You can build single family homes, which is zone 1, in a property that's zone 2. So for one, we just don't know if it's really necessary because it's zoned to do whatever we want to do with it at this point anyways. The biggest reason why we made the decision was the HAT study that was conducted by the city. And the first page of the HAT study, and for those that don't, the HAT study was the housing assessment tool that the city paid for to have done to assess Ellsworth. And I was not here during that time. I've lived here 3 years. I've been on the Planning and Zoning Commission for 6 months. So there's people that are sitting behind the table who've lived here and know a lot more about Ellsworth than I do. But I'm just going by the HAT study and going by the objective numbers that the housing priorities, the number one need is housing availability across income levels within Ellsworth. Number 2 is senior living. And number 3 is migrating of rundown homes, which I believe we're already in the process of doing that. But number 1 is housing availability across all demographics. If you look at page 28, where it talks about the needs of Ellsworth, and if you look under owner occupied housing, the box of housing asset is checked, which means owner occupied housing is in good, plentiful numbers in Ellsworth. We have plenty of that available. Renter occupied housing, we need a lot more. And temporary housing, we need a lot more in Ellsworth to economically develop our community. The second thing that I wanted to bring up, let me find it here, was a testimonial from a local business. And this is just one that I have, but I also have a couple of other ones, not in writing, but from people I've talked to, not even just about this specific situation, just people that have brought it up to me in the past. People at Cashco, people at Ellsworth Correctional Facility, and people at Myco Steel saying that they're having maybe not issues, but they're having problems with people coming in and finding places to live. So people come work here, they find a job working at the correctional facility, they end up quitting and going to work somewhere else because they can't find a place to live for their family here in Ellsworth. A direct quote from Ellsworth County Medical Facility: continues to have difficulties recruiting new employees to work at our hospital due to availability of affordable family housing. This pertains to both entry-level homes, purchases, and rentals adequate for a growing family. I support any reasonable effort to resolve these concerns. So that's the HAT study, the testimonials, and then page 10 of the comprehensive community plan. On page 10, it states that the goal of anyone on a committee, whether it's the city council or the zoning and planning commission, is to develop and maintain a housing supply that is consistent with the needs and desires of residents, encourage residential development that is economically within reach of all residents, promote the development of dwelling units of varying densities and types so that citizens have a number of housing options, assure equal opportunity and choice of housing for all people in respect to race, religion, sex. So in order for the community to grow with the median household income of Ellsworth and for the people that live in this town that drive our economy, we feel like that housing is needed.
So the request from a governmental standpoint for today is to kind of, it was in your packet, but essentially council said, hey, let's move to R1. And went back to the planning and zoning commission and they're saying, no, let's leave it at R2.
That's the recommendation. I also wanted to, if the mayor,
Go ahead.
permission to speak. I also wanted to interject, that was a volunteer effort. I had the HAT study was not paid for. It was paid for sweat equity from the CEO of the hospital. Stacy Schmidt from Economic Development also helped us. Delvin gave a lot of his time. The mayor also sponsored the project. The prison sent in a representative to help us. Joni was a huge help with that. A lot of area businesses also participated and that was a lot of volunteerism, just us driving around the neighborhood, taking inventory. Anita was also part of that school district. Yeah, Dina, thank you. Was also helpful with that. It was a collaborative effort and we all kind of participated in. A couple of the citizens also came to help us compile that data. And the county assessor's office too was a huge help.
I have a couple items.
Yeah.
We have the planning commission to come before the city council
Yes.
to give us their recommendations. And they've given us their recommendations, so why would we not honor their recommendation because we support the planning commission? That's why we have that commission to advise us what the community needs. And the other thing, do you feel that going from R2 to R1 will change the outcome that you're trying to achieve though?
Well, for one, I don't know if it's necessarily the planning and zoning commission's job to decide what the outcome of that lot is.
Well, I guess I'll rephrase that from zone R2 to R1, is that gonna hamper the development of that property for housing?
For what Ellsworth needs? Yes.
As far as what, multifamily dwellings,
Multifamily, yes,
like duplexes?
probably duplexes would be, I mean, we're talking personal here, but my recommendation, if you're asking, would be duplexes. I don't know if I'd recommend putting an apartment complex there necessarily, but
Could we still go R2 and still leave a section for a playground there?
Yes.
I'm still for R1, by the way.
Okay.
That's just me.
I want them from.
They can build a house if they want to, it's fine. Apartment complex, no. Everybody I talk to around there don't want it, so I'm for R1. And that's what we were talking about before, was going to R1.
But they can still build a single
You
family.
can build a
dwelling
house.
on your footprint.
Leaving it R2, what they're
But then they
saying.
then they can throw in apartment complex and low income housing and anything like that on R2. That's what I'm against, is that right there.
But that's also
Okay,
where you
so-
have the power to do that too. That's, you can choose to accept or reject each proposal.
you can choose to accept or reject. Tyler, you can choose to accept or reject that decision, so
Yeah.
the decision today is not necessarily whether we're gonna build an 8-story Section 8 housing on there, or whether we're
I
gonna
would
build
hope not.
no, I don't think we should, or whether we should build a duplex. That's not the decision today. The decision today is what is best for the community moving
Well,
forward.
and it's also best for people to live right there too, right?
Well, I don't disagree with
Yeah.
that, but I'm just saying that don't make a decision today based on something in step 4 that we.
I'm already, I mean, that's where I'm at.
So procedurally, they give the recommendation and then you choose to
We
make.
get to accept it or not, we don't have to take their, whatever they.
But during the course of their evaluation, they do go through a 10 to 15 question
Yeah.
answer sheet that they are required.
17 questions.
17.
Yeah, Patrick, real quick, let's let him.
I just want to correct, just for the record, just while we're talking, R2 in Ellsworth, Kansas, if Dustin, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just looking it up back there, is dual family, it's not apartments. Apartments would require a different zoning level. You cannot build apartments in that lot as it's currently zoned as R2. You can build single family or duplexes and few schools or some other things that aren't housing, but you can't build an apartment complex in there if it stays R2. I just want to make sure everyone understands that, because that might be important.
So you cannot build an apartment complex like this? You cannot.
In our zoning code, to do an apartment complex requires. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just looking up just.
I'm looking.
That's usually R2 is mixed, and then there's a higher level of density that's usually like R3 or something called something else, so. Looking at ours, it's a single family, you know, you can
It's a
see.
2-family dwelling.
Yeah, 2-family dwelling district, so 2-family dwelling duplex, not apartment complex would be a different higher zone, so just so we're all on the same page about what we're talking.
So essentially not what that guy that came from McPherson.
Couldn't build that.
The
He
tri,
wanted to build the triplex, right?
the way it's written and without seeing exactly what he's designed, I'm saying probably not. Try, because it says, the way it's talking about, I mean, it's duplex, what we're talking about is duplex, which. If we think of other areas of town, it's really common, you have the single family area, but you have usually a little bit of a duplex zone that gives way to a business district. It's really common to kind of have a big, so that's what we've got going on there for R2, is just a duplex, it's not more than that. You agree that, yeah? From there?
Oh, I just wanted to say, you could build a single family dwelling that matches R1, and number 2, it says 2-family dwelling. Then it also says dormitories, lodging houses, nursing homes, and boarding houses. And then there's at least 500 square feet a lot for each participant.
And those dormitories and lodgings, that's still not an apartment, that's kind of a weird, that's kind of a very unique specific thing. So I just want to make sure you guys have the best discussion you have and understand what's on the table.
So either zoning 1 or 2, the most they can put in there would be a duplex.
In R1, you can't do a duplex, in R2, you can do a duplex, but you can't do more than a duplex.
More than a duplex, that's not so bad.
Not even as bad.
No, that's not as bad.
That's not.
That's not what that dude had.
He wanted 50 people in
Yeah.
the space.
Exactly. And that's what,
Like I said, we have you guys to give us your recommendations, that's why we have the planning commission.
See, and I wasn't here for that guy you're talking about.
Yeah.
But we also weren't aware of what Patrick just said, so that's all great information.
yeah,
I really think that when we made the decision, when we were talking about the needs of housing in Ellsworth, our thought process was not, a 4-story Section 8.
Yeah.
apartment complex by any means.
And even the proposal wasn't that either. It was just an idea of trying to get houses, attract people 18 to 30.
No, but I also understand that, I mean, I live a block from there too, Tyler, so I
Yeah.
also understand the mindset of if that could happen, I don't even want to go the next step, but I get that.
yeah.
It's normal.
And I think ultimately, we set the price and we determine whether we sell it.
That's right.
Because someone throws some money at us doesn't mean, so there's a whole nother level of. Hate to say it, this discussion, the price is going up, it just is, right? It's becoming a valuable piece of.
That's right, and we're
We
not,
made that decision.
and understand too, that we're not, none of us are against zone 1. I live in zone 1, a block from that block. I think, I've been in construction my whole life, and I think from a mindset of affordable housing for Ellsworth, you go build single family homes in that place, and you're looking at homes that are gonna cost as much as the houses that are up by the bank on the highway. And I'll tell you right now, most of the people in Ellsworth can't afford those homes, especially new families that are coming into work.
Well, what did that one guy want? That, we had a guy come from Manhattan, right? and he was gonna build homes, and they were 200 and some thousand, and he said he could target if you made 36 to 90 some thousand. If you're making $36,000 a year, you're not affording a $220,000.
Maybe when that took place.
Well, this was just not that long ago, it wasn't that long ago,
This spring.
this spring, yeah.
That's right.
Well. Yeah, if you're making that kind of money, you can't afford that house, plain and simple.
So in other words, if we do nothing, make no motions, it will just stay R2 then. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Well, I can go with that.
I go with that.
Yeah, now knowing what. I
Patrick
didn't know what
said, yeah.
rules.
Public hearing, or not public hearing, just, and just so we did have the public hearing, just to regurgitate.
Or do we need a motion that we saying that we will remain to keep it R2 or,
I believe that would, close the issue.
okay, I make a vote.
Excuse me, please. Because things are being done out of order, can we do a roll call before we do a vote? We didn't do a roll call.
Did we do Robert's rules? Do we have to do roll call? We've never done it before.
You know,
No,
we don't have Aaron's listening, so. Everybody,
Aaron's not listening, I don't think he's on Zoom.
okay, thank you,
okay,
thank you.
I'll make a motion that we leave it as R2 as is. On advisement of our legal counsel.
I'll second.
All right, Council Hanson has made a motion to leave the local property zoned at R2 based on the advice from the planning commission. Councilor Hanson has seconded that motion. Any concerns, any debate? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. That property will remain R2. Well done. Thank you, Mary.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't leave, you gotta stay for the whole meeting.
Oh, no.
The whole meeting.
All right, so now we're going to move right back down the order. Let's start with the consent agenda. Includes 5 items. It's the March 25th regular council meeting minutes. They weren't finished before. They're finished now. The 12th of August, public hearing minutes. 12th of August, regular council meeting minutes. The 20th of August, special council meeting minutes. That was a budget workshop. And then we have 1 water and sewer termination request.
What is the water sewer termination request?
They just asked for an extension.
Oh, okay.
Anybody see anything strange, weird? Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All right, Council Renard has made a motion that we will approve the consent agenda. President of the Council Coates has seconded that motion. Any debate, discussion, concerns? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, petitions and delegations. For all comments, please state your full name and whether you're an eligible city resident. All comments are limited to 5 minutes per subject unless city council has further questions. Is there anybody that would like to come forward and speak? Come on up.
My name is Nancy Jensen and I'm a resident of the city of Ellsworth. Jessica Coates and I are having a suicide awareness event at Crazy Park on Saturday, September 21st from 5:30 to 9. And we are just requesting exclusive use of the park that evening.
I'm never going to recuse myself. We should sell the form, right?
What's the date again, Nancy?
September 21st, it's a Saturday evening.
Something going on that Saturday. Not there. The flying. That's the flying. That'd be a perfect day. I mean,
Well, we hope so.
well, there's never a perfect day for that.
Don't give any kamikaze.
But I mean,
For
they,
no rain. and-
people could come here, hang out, they could just,
Yeah.
they could partake if they wanted to.
So Mayor, I'd make a motion to, is it a group chat or is it?
Yeah, it's like Midway, I think the flyer will say like Midway Extension District and
Okay.
co-op are partnering for this.
To authorize Midway Extension District to have exclusive use of Crazy Park on Saturday, September 21st from 5 to 9 p.m. for a suicide awareness event.
I'll second it.
So Councilor Hanson made a motion to allow the Midway Extension Service to have a suicide awareness training September the 21st from 5 until 9 at Crazy Park. for exclusive use of that park. Counselor Panzer has seconded that motion. All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And it's not a training, it's just an awareness event.
Right.
We should hopefully have the flyer finished up later this week, so just watch our Facebook page for details. I think it's gonna be a really impactful event.
All right, so moving on to unfinished business, we have the youth outdoor day. Any other petitions and delegations? Anybody else? I didn't see anybody making a move for the podium, so. Youth outdoor day, discharge of firearms within city limits, as agenda item report 24-151. Dustin, you want to explain this to
Yes,
us?
sir, chief. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Did you do your analysis and do you approve of the event so council can approve it safely based on?
They hadn't even come to me to show me anything as far as what they have set up for safety or anything like that, so at this time, I'm not confident to say yes.
So you're not confident to say yes?
Right.
You're not
I would
confident?
see, I would rather see what they have set
Okay,
up.
I understand.
Before I give my,
Right, okay,
I would, obviously wasn't here last year to see what they had set up, and they did say it's gonna be safe this year. But I kind of like to see it before I say, go ahead.
when is the date for the youth outdoor day?
September 28th.
So there's time for them to
Yeah.
submit it. Okay, I think that's fine, we don't need to do anything at this point, so.
We need to contact Jeans and remind them that they need to be at the next meeting. Because maybe I think they were aware of that.
And just get out, get them on the sheet.
I'll reach out to them, I'll get.
Okay, very good. Thank you, chief.
Thanks, chief.
All right, next item, unfinished business, the dangerous structure at 1013 West 12th Street, resolution 2024-18. Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to appoint Delvin to make its presentation.
Well, but the bank, how was it? I think I made.
Yes.
Urban.
Skip for the club.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys already have set a resolution once for it, but then Mr. Urban died, so we need another resolution. So that we can do it to the bank and it's foreclosing on it. So that we can condemn it.
And let's see here. Okay, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve resolution 2024-18.
Is that 3146?
No, it's resolution 24.
Oh, it's at the bottom. Okay, so what are these things above that under C?
They're coming up right here.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll second Tyler, sorry.
All right, Tyler has made a motion to approve the condemnation proceedings against the 1013 West 12th Street address. Counselor Hanson has seconded that motion. That is resolution 2024-18. All right, any debate about that? Any lack of understanding? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Okay, we've got a new ordinance looks like it's an add-on. It's a Jake and engine braking ordinance 3146, where there are financial penalties now assigned to this action. So go ahead, Dustin.
I wanted to thank, that this is a group effort between Patrick, our attorney, and the police department, in helping me put this together. So I really owe them thanks. This is just us responding to our discussions regarding Jake braking that's been brought up a couple meetings ago. And we're just responding to your request, and this is the final product that staff had to come up with.
Looks good. I like it. Mr. Mayor, I move to approve ordinance 3146.
I'll second it.
All right, Councilor Renard has made a motion to approve the Jake and engine braking ordinance 3146. As written, Councilor Panzer has seconded that motion. Any debate, concerns? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. So, that chief of police, you guys are gonna be pulling some people over, correct? For
Yes,
Jake and
sir.
engine braking?
Once we get signs posted and everything.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, just let us know when that day happens, because we waited for 3 years for this. you know, at least, so. Sure. All right, very good. New business. This one is the Uniform Public Offense Code Ordinance. It is agenda item report 24-158. And Dustin, you want to tell us a little bit about
I'm gonna divert this one to Police Chief and Patrick.
it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
That makes sense.
My recommendation, after looking at it, I had some of the other officers look at it since I hadn't looked at it. Is just to adopt the ordinance as it's written. For the books it's written. And I know it wasn't done last year, so there's some new stuff that came in last year that will be adopted if it's approved.
I stand behind what the police department, what I've been advised by.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to, or excuse me, I move to approve ordinance number 3148. And it'll be 47. So what was the number? Oh, because we didn't change it. Gotcha, excuse me, 3147. I'll second.
All right, Counselor Koza made a motion to approve ordinance 3147. And Counselor Hanson has seconded that motion. Any concerns, debate? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Moving on, the 2024 Standard Traffic Offense Ordinance. AIR 24-160. What is the ordinance number? Is this 3148?
Yes.
Yes.
49.
It'll be 48 because we didn't approve one of them in the list.
Okay.
Okay.
And pretty much the same recommendation on this one, myself and Sergeant Wade looked over it and we approved it as written.
Okay.
And was there really much, is there much different in these as they kind of go on, or does a lot change, or kind of?
Every once in a while, the law change. They usually change one or two every year. Like one thing that got missed over 2023, since it didn't get approved, was the enforcement of like the parking, the 2-hour parking.
Oh,
Before, we wouldn't have had any teeth in it, but now with this being approved, it goes back and gives us teeth in that battle, because in 2023, they approved officers being able to enforce the parking.
I see. Okay. Mr. Mayor, I move to approve ordinance 3148. Right?
Yes.
I'll second it.
All right, Counselor Renard has made a motion to approve the 2024 Standard Traffic Offense Ordinance 3148. Counselor Panzer has seconded that motion. Any debate, concerns? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, moving on. Thank you, Chief. Yes, sir. Public Building Commission vacancy. Do we have some new vacancies?
Yeah, this is one that we missed, and we're now getting to a point in the clerk's office where we're getting down into the weeds and actually correcting some deep-seated stuff that hasn't been updated in years. One of those is the Public Building Commission. There's 3 vacancies that need to be filed.
And we have no names right this point.
That is correct.
Okay, so we gotta go find some names. Is there a deadline to do it?
Well, since we haven't had it in a couple of years, no.
Okay.
And but I mean, we would like to get them in place soon.
Right. All right, so, what would the qualifications be that, besides an interest in the job?
I generally rely on the ordinance. It says it shall consist of 3 members, the same to be appointed by you and approved by the council.
What do they do? What is this, like a new,
No,
or who's on it, or who was on it, like? What did they do before? Yeah. Is this zoning board?
No,
right?
no.
I've never even heard of the public building. Have you guys? Maybe Dawn has.
If you look at that, Mayor.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
It's his name, yeah.
So the Public Building Commission performs purposes and functions. You acquire a site or sites for construction, reconstruction, equipping and furnishing a building or buildings.
I know the answer to this question.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. very short answer, there's some, if this is it, what's our bond council that comes and helps us, Kevin and
Kevin Calvin.
Kevin Galvin. There's some special things in Kansas law that make it easier and advantageous sometimes for bonding purposes. For this, to use a public building commission to build something that leases it to the city, and we probably haven't used it in 20 or 30 years, but we like to keep it around in case we want to.
So these people have other roles too, they just are also on this or?
It's a committee that I would say ad hoc meets as needed, like
Okay.
if Kevin, and I can't give you a great example, I've used it in other roles. Where it makes sense, where the interest rate ends up being 3%, if you did it normal bonds, you might get a 2% rate if you use the public building commission, so you use it, and so I just say it's kind of a. In case of fire, break glass situation, but it would be good to fill it with somebody who's already maybe involved in city life, so you don't have to call them in 3 years out of the blue and remind them.
Okay, sounds good. We can do that. I think that's pretty easy.
And I got a list coming to you in
Okay,
October for
Okay,
the citizenship stuff.
some of those folks may be interested. That'd be good. That'd be good. All right, so we don't really need to take action on that at this point. The next item on the agenda is the Ellsworth Substance Abuse Task Force vacancy, and we need to fill this with 1 or 2 people.
One, we've got 2 already, it's Jessica, myself, and whatever, but we need 1 member of the police department, and my recommendation is Chief Jerry.
All right,
And then it's your choice.
Is the chief on board with this?
I asked him before I proposed it to the mayor.
Yes.
Is this the same kind of thing? I mean, I've been on here since November of 2019 and we've done nothing, so. What is this? What are we supposed to do here?
I haven't done anything since I've been here either, I just know my name's on it, but based on what I'm reading, it's to promote the reduction of substance abuse, including the education, so these funds are supposed to be used for that purpose. Maybe we can start utilizing it, I've just never used it.
Well, I know Chief, wherever you are, said that you weren't gonna do DARE. So I didn't know if this money like could be used for something like the drug dog, like education that way, if that would be an appropriate person to put on there, I mean. Chief Penny, I think you would be a fine addition to our team that doesn't do anything, but.
For me,
Just-
it's whatever education we can get out there. I mean, if it includes the drug dog, any kind of paying for items to go and speak with the high school, middle school. Even so far as stuff, within the community, whenever you have Cowtown or something like that, setting up a booth of drug awareness and stuff. I mean, that money can be used for things like that as far as, from what I understand. Because it'll be more of the education of the public.
that might be a great idea to get the drug dog out there more.
Yeah, I know I was first asked to be on it because I've done some education rate extension office with vaping. I'm not physically, but vaping awareness, so that's where my mind went to, like I didn't, but I know you have some canine handler experience.
Right, and that's just, I mean, there's a lot of things I think you could do with it. I mean, I just found out about it, I guess, 2 weeks ago. And because I didn't know it existed either, it got brought up to me, so it's one of those things that. I think as long as you're using it for education of the public, then you're good.
But just because we don't have some, like, if we assigned you tonight, we could, if we had a meeting of the minds to do something, we could certainly pull in another officer. Right. Okay.
Correct.
And I just like the oversight of these chief to look over the finances.
And I'm always willing to bring the officers into it because I value what they have to say too, and they're out on it, so.
Sure.
They're in.
Keep ready to that task force.
You appoint.
Okay, all right, so I make a recommendation to appoint Chief Penny as a member of the Ellsworth Substance Abuse Task Force.
I motion to approve that appointment, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll send it here.
All right, Councilor Renard has made a motion to approve the appointment of Chief Penny as the Ellsworth Substance Abuse Task Force member, and Councilor Panzer has seconded that motion. Any concerns? No? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Very good. Moving on to another subject that probably is gonna require a lot of talk over the months ahead. It's a code enforcement versus police department separation of duties. Dustin, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so this is in continuation of the discussion we had for the budget talks and all of that stuff. We're just trying to show that we're being responsive to your discussions and proposals. And just seeking further policy guidance on how the direction you want us to go. One of the discussions, as you know, in our budget was, can code enforcement write tickets for things that they, and if the police department is not available. And so we just wanted to talk to council about the clarification of that, because especially one of the things we were thinking of is grass clippings. It's looked at by the code, it's refuse, mainly because of the nitrates that get stored in the grass clippings, and then when the water washes it down, it'll be stormwater that enters into the stream. That's not good for drinking water purposes. And that's one of the reasons, health reasons why we're concerned about it. The code, currently the code enforcement officer cannot issue citations with judicial level. We can cite them for code enforcement violations, and then we can send them to court, but we cannot issue a fine or anything like that. That rests with the police department. And so I guess I wanted to ask for guidance. How you wanted us to do this?
How do they want to do it? How do they really want to do it?
Well, that's what I
Gentlemen,
invited
come up.
Yeah. And chief, if you're interested.
My thought is, last year you guys said the curb, that was where we were separating the police and then go back the curb. So I don't know how you want to classify grass, but out in the street. Cause that would be littering and we have no, that's a,
Walk them up.
well, I mean, that's a, yes, what do you want to call it?
Police action.
Yeah, please.
Which it can be either way, because I mean, I've got a little bit of experience with code from a previous agency, and they were able to write citations for stuff like that. Code enforcement has a little more freedom than we do because of the Constitution. We can't go on to say somebody's property to look at their grass, to do things like that, and they have a little bit more freedom when it comes to that. But as far as enforcing like the grass being blown out there, I mean, there is, I'm guessing what you printed off was the code.
Yeah, let's say it's littering.
Right.
It's considered.
It's considered littering, but I don't know if that needs to be changed, the wording on it, or what, but for them to be able to enforce that if they're driving around and they see somebody blowing their grass in the streets.
I think we're talking about a civil citation.
At this point, you're not doing that.
Well, no, I don't have the authority to do that.
You go through the police department and.
Well, in the past, what's happened is, it got down to the point where you had to physically observe the person mowing the grass into the street. Now, when I see grass in front of someone's house, I know obviously they mow their yard, some of them did. So I'll hang a door hanger on and tell them that, you know, and most of the people, they clean it up. But we do have a few people that they're just kind of honoring and they don't want to do that. They haven't figured out they can put their mower in the opposite direction and not actually blow the street. So, we're just, we have some situations where, I had one situation up on 8th Street where I had put a door hanger, talked to people, they didn't do anything. Then one of the police officers came and visited with them. And that's all he had to do, and the next thing I know, boy, and that thing was picked up. But they weren't gonna be able to do anything unless and in that particular case, I actually saw him do it. It was on Sunday. That's another thing. Most of this grass mowing stuff isn't going on when we're out on the street. It's going on in the evenings or it's going on weekends, and so we're not there to physically see it, so. And I guess the good news is it's not gonna last much longer this year, so. But it's something to think about.
So it's primarily grass, that's kind of got.
Yeah, they're throwing the grass and stuff in the street, and then it gets accumulated. I actually had one guy that mowed it in the street and then was using a blower to push it down into the storm drain.
Another one piled up in a great big pile.
Yeah, Lipton Street, yeah.
I don't really, I'm not really for you guys being able to do that. I mean, I think the cops should take care of stuff like that.
I'd say after you put up the second morning, the third time, you turn it over. to
Yeah.
the chief, and then him call the
I don't
visit.
think we need,
I don't think we need
that's
to do
good.
it. That's gonna start a bunch of,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really just look,
I'd like to see 2 mornings, and the third morning, he gets turned over to the police department.
yeah, that's what I kind of think too.
Which I'm not even concerned about warnings if it's somebody that does it all the time. Because I mean, that's, you know, most of the time it's gonna be repeat people that have been doing it over and over and over again anyway, so
What is the fine for that,
I have no idea.
That stuff is, grass clippings are cited as being littered, and so, it's probably a class C misdemeanor.
We talked about it enough during city council, people should be aware of it, just with paper.
Gosh, you would think, wouldn't you?
Well, can you like take a picture of their house and post it on Facebook, or is that legal? Because then
Sounds
you
like
kind
you're
of shame
shaming
them.
then.
Yeah,
Actually, there are
can you do that?
other cities, I don't know about pictures, but I know other cities like, what is it, Canopolis, not Canopolis.
That wouldn't take much.
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis has it where you can put it's a realtor sign that says code enforcement violator. And you put it in the front yard. That's actually been tried by multiple cities.
Till they rip it out and throw it in the street, right?
Yeah. I don't know if I would recommend that personally, but I've seen it.
Yeah.
This is just a good example here of the code enforcement versus police department being civil and legal. And there are some jurisdictions that allow code enforcement to write what I call civil citations, which would put them into municipal.
Which is something that, for me, I've seen, and I mean, I know that they don't get to. I mean, I would like to, this is just me thinking, have them empowered to do that, because they know the people that they deal with all the time. In my eyes. I mean,
Well, they understand, I also understand the political ramifications, and so I can see their perspective as well.
correct, and that's me too. I mean, a lot of the times in most places I've worked, that they're separated. And code enforcement writes the citations for code violations, whereas the police department writes them for municipal violations. So,
I think one concern though is, PD's armed, not that, it's grass clippings, but you never know, to hit the person on their own day.
Yeah,
You send Steve Riddell up there,
if the guy actually go drunk at 5 Steve.
that's just it. I mean, to me, that's a chance you take. I know it's grass clippings, but
I think
Crazy
about
things
it,
that
like
happen.
the 2 mornings and then turn it over.
I've also instructed them that if they ever feel in danger, they should call a police officer.
Yeah. We can try it, what they're talking about, I mean, another 6 months, and if it's just driving you crazy, we can revisit it too.
Well, like I said, we're coming into the end of the growing season here, so this may go on for another month, and then it's gonna be a non-issue until spring. So we can, if we do that, we can do, and when you say alert them, what we're talking, just a door hangers, we're talking about issuing nuisance violations by Richard.
I'd say 2 door hangers and document it on your log or on your computer, time and day, and then after 2 and the third time, you got proof of it there, you give it to the people.
Okay,
And as soon as the grass clipping's over, people are gonna be blowing the leaves out of the
Yeah.
street. Fall, you know.
Yeah, same thing. It seems awful petty, but it's sad you have to address it.
Well, leaves are even worse, I mean, plugging up storm sewers and stuff and being on the street, them are the them are the problem, grass.
Anything, anybody got anything else for them, or? Okay, thank you guys, appreciate it, yeah.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so moving on, we got a quote for a lift station maintenance, agenda item report 24-163.
I got 2 lift stations that need updates based on what Hickman Environmental Services is telling the water department. One is for the one at Conkle Drive. at Christic Park, and the other one is our main lift station out by the dog pound. They just need repairs. So I'm asking for permission to execute this quote so I can get those repairs scheduled. It's over $10,000, so it's fine.
We have the funds in the department.
Yeah, I'm pulling it from 069-10-4999, which is the water sewer improvement fund.
Are there any bids on any of this?
For repairs, no. For capital improvement projects, I will have to do a bid. So like, for example, I have the design work done, but I do need to do a bid for the backup generators. So I'll be working on that RFP.
Sounds fair to me.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the closed repair bid for the lift stations at Cumberland and Lincoln and the main station. For the amount of $41,999.14, not to exceed $45,000.
Right, so these are quotes. So if I need to come back to you.
I'll second that.
All right, Counselor Hanson has made a motion to approve the enclosed repair bids for the amount of $41,999.14, not to exceed $45,000. Councilor Bernard has seconded that motion. Any concerns? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, moving into the department head summaries. City Inspector Delvin, do you have anything else?
Yeah, actually Steve has about the Casey's story like to talk about.
Okay, yeah, I noticed something going on there.
This won't take too long. Well, let me just read this story. This is kind of a synopsis of the whole situation. So back in April 3rd, permits were issued to demolish the existing car wash and restaurant. Casey General Store number 2562 began an expansion project to add diesel pumps and additional egress areas for semi trucks in April of 2024, with the demolition of the existing restaurant, car wash, and additional parking areas were to be added. Part of the contractual work was to plant new grass in the areas in and around the parking areas. So that was part of the contract was agreed to. At the completion of the parking area and installation of the new diesel islands, new grass was planted and an automatic sprinkler system was installed. Due to the water restrictions imposed on the city of Ellsworth, special dispensation was given to Casey's in order to get the new grass started. So on June 13th, you all did a phone resolution approval to give them a 2-week deferment. That was to get the grass started.
Just interjected, we, after consulting with legal counsel and just talking to counsel, we determined that based on legal counsel, I made the decision to allow them to do it. I did have conversations with individual members, but I do want it to be noted that we did that because there was already prior approved plans,
Right.
not because there was an actual council resolution.
Okay. Stand corrected. So this was done as part of the retail upgrade group. Okay, on August the 7th, after receiving several complaints that the grass was being watered every day, I visited with the store manager, his name is Brian Ingles. Mr. Ingles advised he did not have the ability to change the timers on the watering system. It was locked in an area he did not have access to. He said that he would submit a work order to the corporation to get it changed. I just let you know, when he first told me that, I thought, well, he's maybe sliding, but that's not the case. So on August 15th, after I didn't see anything going on, I issued a nuisance violation to Casey's Retail Corporation. And I copied the local store. There were 2 violations. Grass and weeds were tall and the watering system was still in violation. Now, just to let you know, I sent that out by registered mail. It's been bouncing around Columbus, Ohio for a week. I don't know what's going on with it. Apparently they have a main distribution center there and it goes from there to there to there to there. So Casey's hasn't even gotten the letter yet. All right. What I found out was this. I was contacted by Mr. Travell Aldrich. He's with TA Lawn Service, Tree and Lawn. He has the contract to mow Casey's as well as our general. Now, what he told me was he gets his contract, he works under another contractor that Casey's has. He said that contractor is actually being replaced because they were causing issues about them actually getting out. He's supposed to be mowing cases 3 times a month. Dollar General twice. He did go up there and try to mow it a couple times, but because the watering system was doing it every day, and then the rain came, it was a swamp, so he couldn't get in and mow the thing. Now, it finally did get mowed, and I told him, I said, well, we need to get something done with this sprinkler system. I explained what was going on. He said that he would get a key for that building. And he's to be here either tomorrow or Wednesday. And that we would reset that sprinkler system so that it's in conformance with our water restrictions, which they're even numbered. So they'd be on there Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, 7 p.m., 7 a.m. And no warmer hills.
I mean, that's a lot of work on your part. I think once you master who you need to talk to, pass that information along, because that stuff's hard to get.
Yeah, it was slow coming, and I tried to get more information from the store manager, but he was not really wanting to give up anybody's names higher up the food chain. And so we just had to wait until we could finally get a hold of somebody.
Yeah, I stopped in also and wanted to speak to the manager. And I said, what about the grass out here? When you get it mowed? He says, I don't have any control over that. I had nothing to do with that. And it really surprised me. I said, well, then you need to contact someone that is. He said he would do that. But I don't know if he did or.
Well, I ran into this actually last year as well. There was a different store manager at that time, but it was the same story. There were contractors that were hired. And apparently there's some company that Casey's deals with that administers to these contractors. And the story I was getting from the landscape gentleman was that they were jerking the contractors around. And so they're being replaced by a different company, and he hopes when they come in that it's going to make things better and easier. So, and he covers Casey's from Colby to Oklahoma this way. So, and he was supposed to be, like I said, mowing 3 times a week. But the main thing is the water situation, because they've been using a lot of water. So. All right.
Good job.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You bet.
Okay, fire chief, anything from Kim? Golf course, Patrick, I don't see him. Or Blake, right? Yep. Chief, you have anything more?
No, sir, I do not.
Okay. All right, no record, no Troy. And Dustin, you're the acting water and sewer foreman. Do you have anything?
Just a couple of dates to keep in mind. I've scheduled 2 things, going back to things that were closing loose ends on. I put off the sewer project because of heat and just various things going on, so I've scheduled Brian Bowles to be out here. To help the crew fix 2 sewer points out on First Street. I haven't forgotten about that. He's gonna knock that out the week of September 16th. So we're gonna get those 2 sewer repairs done. Like I said, I paid for it to have it cameraed. We know what 2 points need to be, instead of replacing the entire thing like I thought, it's just 2 sections. That's actually in good shape. And then the week after that, I got them scheduled for valve, water and sewer, or water valve testing on the week of the 23rd. So that week they'll be doing quadrant C/3.
Very good. Okay, anything else?
No, this can, I will start presenting to council, requests for purchase of valving. Because we're going to start replacing valves. We also forgot about Good Samaritan, so I've been in touch with Jessica Beckler. We're gonna get that fixed as well. So we're just waiting on the meter. Very good. We got the valve now. We've got everything else. We just need to get the meter so we can get that fixed.
Very good. Anything else in that department?
Yeah, so we've got, during the road construction project, we found 2 valves that are not in good shape right next to the post rock. And that thing is a cement brick and they've had trouble getting it out. So we're gonna get that out and just completely replace both of them. While we're there, luckily they were able to isolate the valves downtown. So the day that we're gonna do that, I will let people know via Facebook and other means to get those valves completely replaced, and we'll get that filled in once we get the cement break out. And that's really heavy.
Very good. Okay. There's nothing else. City attorney. Patrick, do you have anything?
Oh, I just want to say one thing. Just, I don't know, debating going back to it, but just, your issues like grass clippings, and it's in chapter 8 of our code, which is a form of a nuisance. And I just wanted to make, and eventually when those things are not able to be handled with the code enforcement officer, they end up on my desk. And anything that I've ever brought to city court here or anywhere else has never been brought to city court until that person has had multiple warnings. They end up with city court and fines. Those are for people who either want to debate that the ordinance exists, that they're following it, or they just don't want to comply with it. So just to reassure, whatever your policy is, like, with that process, we, all city staff everywhere I've ever worked with, give warnings and try and educate people before they find them. The other just overarching thought I kind of have about nuisances in general is just going to a lot of meetings like I do, you get people that are complaining about the enforcement of the nuisance, and then on the other side, where other places, you get people complaining that they have too many derelict properties. And finding the exact perfect balance that makes everybody's happy is the challenge of the city council meeting.
Thank you. Very good. All right, city clerk?
Okay, when I came to the city from the sheriff's office, I proposed the idea of doing VIN inspections, the police department doing VIN inspections. I had been the one conducting them at the sheriff's office, and then after I left, it fell back to Murray. And just knowing what I know, he's kind of falling behind, and knowing that there will be sheriff changeover pending the next election. That's what spurred my proposition to start a VIN inspection program with the city. It's dictated by statute. The VIN inspection program is something put on by, it's required by KHP for out-of-state titled vehicles to be inspected by KHP or a designee to prevent an influx of vehicle theft or bringing in stolen vehicles to the state. It has to be done by a law enforcement agency as the designee, but it is a way of generating income that goes to a special fund, not as part of the regular general budget or the, so it would go to not general fund, a special account, but that would require Angela to open a special account for these funds to be distributed into. Really, in checking with Angela, she doesn't need permission to open the special fund, but it's something that we wanted to make you guys aware of, that it's an option that we have explored. Each successful inspection would generate a minimum of $20. And in talking with Jerry and Deanne and just bouncing the idea around, everybody that is part of the police department, including Deanne, could be trained on how to conduct the VIN inspections, but it would offer kind of a cushion for unseen expenses that come up for the police department. So kind of an emergency fund that doesn't have to necessarily be used as an emergency. With the sheriff's office, they had never budgeted in doing winter coats for patrol. So when we proposed that idea, we took that money out of the VIN fund to help pay for it. In my time doing it, after I took over from Captain Lighton, when he retired, I generated $8,000 worth of income.
In 1 year?
Roughly, yeah. And I did them by appointment. Very rarely did I have somebody roll up and need one done. But if I could fit it into my schedule, I would do them. But it would help with things that aren't budgeted, things that aren't part of the line item. Those random expenses that come up. Had something like this been in place and the funds been available rather than taking out of an equipment fund to buy the Explorer that was used for the K-9 vehicle, that money could have come out of the fund by chance, so.
Is it ever interfere with your primary duties when you're at the sheriff's department? Or do you control it? If you just couldn't do it, you just did something like that, or?
Yeah, I was able to just kind of work them in. It took me about 15 minutes from start to finish. To conduct one inspection, as long as there weren't any weird things that popped up. But the reason that it's done by a law enforcement agency is because it's a felony to have an altered VIN, that plate that's visible through the windshield. So if during the inspection you find one, then it has to be reported. Which is why it falls back, but KHB is overwhelmed with the amount of inspections that they have to do, which is why they started their SCD program. But I spoke with Murray. He cannot dictate whether the city does a program or not. It's all controlled by KHB. To enroll into the program, Dustin just has to write them a letter on city letterhead saying, hey, we're interested, can we do it? Starting cost would be roughly $50 to buy a pad of the VIN inspection forms. And then.
So that somebody in the public can't do it, it has to be a law enforcement officer.
Correct, or an employee of a law enforcement agency.
So we'd be providing,
Yeah.
so this would be a huge help to not only Ellsworth County, but to Barton County, maybe. Some of Barton Counties like close to there.
Yeah, I did them for people out of Barton County and Russell
Get it
County.
with a passport, why in the
Yeah.
world would you not get a passport over here?
Mhm.
Same thing.
Is Chief on board with this?
Yes, sir. I am.
You get it?
I think on top of the end, we should have at least a couple of officers also trained in it to be able to take some of that burden off the end whenever she's super busy, because she's got a ton of different things she does too, so I think it'd be beneficial to have a couple of officers also trained to do the same thing.
Realistically, if everybody, in the police department got trained on how to do it, they could count it as in-house training to use for their C post, their required training hours. And then with permission, when I did it for the sheriff's office, if Murray gave me permission, I would go to people's houses to do their inspections. Same thing, whoever's on patrol, if they had time, they could pop out, go to somebody's house in the city, do the inspection. It is roadway vehicles and trailers and antique cars. So lots of options there. They just can't do salvage vehicles or rebuilt titles or off-road vehicles. So.
I'm looking good right here. Yeah. So what do we need to do maybe for the next meeting to something together?
No, we just wanted to talk to you and see if you would have an issue if I implement it.
As long as Chief's on board, I think it's no problem.
And training's free also. Murray could conduct the training. Honestly, I could conduct the training, but Murray got trained by KHP on how to do it. I got trained by Murray. So it would be more beneficial to get trained by Murray. So.
Okay. Well, I still hear it's not a bad time.
Exactly.
I like it. So do we need a motion or just see this go? Okay.
Just wanted to verify it with you.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, very good, nice. City administrator, looks like you got about 5 bullet
Yeah.
points there.
Just going over things and updating you. Let me go to my list. Tour parking was pulled from in front of the independent reporter. And now Joni Mitchell wants to know about 300. Joni Glazer.
Yeah.
Joni Mitchell.
There's a apparition.
Yeah,
Anyway, and this kind of goes back to what Troy was talking about. If we pull one, do you want me to just continue to scale them back? Or where do you want to draw them back?
What if we took First Street and Second Street and made it from Main Street back half a block each direction? On First Street and Second Street, that would eliminate all these problems. Because the people that's in violation of this they got moved or asked to move out this location, so they go to this one. They get asked to move because they're parking there all day in that one, they go to this one. One person's on her fourth or fifth place, she's been asked not to park anymore. You think she'd get the hint? So I say, I looked at it, if we go over here to Second Street and go half a block to the post office and to the credit bank. And come over here, stop at the alley here and over here at the deli and go half a block back south on each street. That would free up that whole main downtown intersection. That no one, the boys just can't park their cars there for the whole day and take up parking. I think it's the fairest way I could think
Because
of
it's
it.
meant for people to go to a store, buy something and leave.
Yeah, not for employees.
It's something an employee doesn't wanna walk.
But employee doesn't want to walk.
Business.
Yeah, so I'd like to see us just take those two half blocks, at least two half blocks, back to the alley and make it 2 hour parking, that eliminate all this. And like, a lot of them are bank employees, and they've got a bank parking lot over there. Doesn't make sense to me.
Chief, what are your thoughts?
And I agree with it. Because I've noticed that even the short time I've been here, I've noticed that certain ones park and stay all day. So I think once we get
This would be
Okay.
right.
But
this
my-
need to
right.
go back, I think it's okay.
The real question is they blowing grass too. That's-
Yeah.
Grass, they're doing the same thing. It's the same person. That's right. Yeah.
Like Jeff and Kim, like the summer, they had a renter in that apartment above on the corner that worked for Kirk and Michael. So he parks on the street,
On the side street.
on the side street,
So does Georgina, right?
and so does Georgina.
And I think that Michelle that works for Stacy, and then the people that own like Rick Conley's agency, they park on that side street, and Dr. Williams' office.
There's
parks
not
on that Side
But
street.
Places
also
for them to
there-
park.
There's parking behind Torkelson's parking, right?
There is, yeah, but they typically have them park, because if they have people coming in to visit or whatever, then they have them parking back there, so typically they don't let them park behind.
So as to say that he could actually park behind the store.
Can I make one suggestion maybe?
Yeah.
Put an hours on it. Like Monday through Friday between these hours. To enforce it, to where you're enforcing it for the people during the week that are out here coming into their job versus somebody that's staying in the apartment. At nighttime, they'll be able to park there and use,
But like he just parked it there because he just walked to work every day. So I'm saying, like, he just walked across the street to Kirk and Michael, so he just parked it there.
right, and I mean, at that point, I think maybe he does need to park in the other parking.
And he's got, Kirk and Michael now has the parking lot right behind Kirk and Michael, because he just car there.
Who's gonna drive 2 blocks to work to walk across the street?
No, but nobody's got, he could park his car, leave it in Kirk and Michael's parking lot all the time. And walk from there to work to his home, just reverse it.
Yeah, well, what about the people like Rick and Roxy Conley, that they park right next to that back door at their office, so we're telling them now they have to park somewhere else?
No, they park in the alley behind,
Yeah,
in the alley, and behind the store, there's parking. We're talking
There
about
isn't
one
behind
street.
the attorney's office though.
yeah,
But absolutely, they would not be able to park there.
I don't like that.
I don't even.
I think
like
you own a
side
building
streets.
and you own a corner, and you can't even park at your own place, you
I
know,
was gonna say, or one of the suggestions, maybe just not do size.
Just do Douglas.
On Douglas and that's it.
I think that's the best way.
The other thing is, what if they had someone that worked in another business, though, taking their parking place every day?
Not to fight over it.
That's what's going on.
Well,
Yeah, that's what's going on. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me, because I'm not involved in the parking whatsoever.
yeah, but I think that's gonna make a lot of people mad too.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people
Because they
mad
can't
now.
park at their own, their own place.
Yeah, and on the other side of it, there's a lot of people mad because other businesses have their employees parking in front of their businesses, which just out of courtesy isn't nice.
Yeah, this is just kind of,
If they-
but we're in a different time.
Yeah,
We're blowing grass all over the streets. You know, we're not parking right, it's terrible. Yeah, it's bad.
in fact, maybe you have a talk with the individual that everyone's having trouble with, see if we can work out.
Yeah, I mean,
Lock them up.
I just don't know.
No,
I mean, let's find, let's see if we can find a solution then.
Yeah.
If we can, let's
Maybe get.
Keep the
I
dialogue.
think that's what Jody needs to talk about tonight.
Yeah,
She's not here.
Well, I think she wants a 2 hour beside her
Building.
for like, because if she has people coming in to signing for houses or whatever. Because people do, I mean, I don't have a problem if she wants that, I don't necessarily have a problem, but I think.
To do a blanket thing may be wrong.
Because I know like Georgina does park around the corner, she doesn't park in front of her business, she parks around the corner and. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's a can of worms that we shouldn't have opened, but part of it was we had other people's employees parking in front of our office all day long, right? At the first stall, where people that can't walk very far couldn't, need that space.
I can think of different ways, but maybe individual businesses like Jimmy's is not a bad approach, to maybe meeting in the middle.
that was definitely a solution.
I mean, if the business owner, could they be like, yeah, sure, put it on a corner lot, you can have 2 hour parking all the way around, I mean, could they do that?
Yeah, we can.
And if they say, no, I can't do that, cause I gotta park somewhere too, then just don't do it.
Don't do it.
Cause Douglas right now is 2 hours, and the whole.
Yes, aside
Except
from
for
the
the school.
school and where the one we just.
So I mean, we got some, at least they can't park, there, but. Yeah, the side streets is gonna be kind of. This thing to do.
Why don't we just spend 2 weeks really thinking it over?
Yeah, that's,
And, we do well when we do that.
it was brought to me and I brought a test because
Yeah,
I didn't have an answer.
Right. All you can do is make the best decision you can.
Yeah.
And be able to sell it and.
It's
some
all,
people are gonna like it.
honestly, it's pretty petty. I mean, we shouldn't even have to be addressing it.
Well, it's usually at our level we can address it. I also, because it never been instituted before, so I asked.
yeah.
Okay, so what's the next one?
ADA parking, we are currently working on bids. We got one from Kyler. I forget the exact amount, but it's around 17.
All right, great idea. Here's what we eventually need to do. When they build it, we need to connect it to the multi-use path. So like, think about during the rodeo, that is a major choke point. It would be nice to have that path somehow connect to the multi-use path so that pedestrians can walk safely through there. So that was an issue then, and it was an issue during that bike race. Vehicles, cars, and people were all mashed together in that. It would be nice to have a sidewalk, and PD says, this major event, no vehicles, this is where pedestrians and bikes can go. You'd have to go, I think, I'm not on the Ellsworth side, but on the other side. I think there's some room there, not this time around, but be thinking about that when they build this ADA. It'd be nice to connect it. So Alan, you could go from the multi-use path, right? Up to the rec center and back through there. See what I'm saying?
I can go anywhere I want to.
I know. Easier. You see, you're not going down the road, then you'd have something, so. But anyway, I think that. That would be the
That's a
best.
bad idea.
No,
I'd be something.
down the road, yeah.
If we're going to make ADA parking at the rec center, then are we also going to redo that sidewalk in front because it's garbage? And then are we gonna make an ADA accessible door at the rec? Like, are we doing this in phases? Because I don't feel like we can have just one of those things.
No, if it's anything like ADA law compared to sidewalks and stuff, it's exempt right now because of the age. But if we choose to do something, I think you're right, we would have to update everything, all of us.
And there has to be money available for that kind of stuff.
Yes, and that would be expensive. Just
Yeah.
The concrete alone for that front part was enough. We just were asking for a ballpark.
Yeah. But I think when they did it, we just put that helpful hint in there, hey, we'd eventually like to connect it, be thinking about that.
Yeah. So the next thing is, I am wanting to have an employee picnic on Thursday, the 26th, 2024. I know I don't need to ask permission, but I wanted to ask, so I just wanted to bring it to your attention. We're gonna do a picnic. I've also invited the fire department. I don't know how many will participate because they have full-time jobs, but just, the thought of, we're thinking of. But I would like to release the staff for Thursday afternoon. Then the wastewater treatment plant, I just got the documents on Friday from Brian Foster, the current. I am working with the North Regional Central Planning Commission. We're gonna start working together on Wednesday, well, not only on the application, but also on the the environmental study. I have to contract with North Regional Central Planning Commission because KRWA doesn't feel they can get it done on time. And when I talked to Brian Foster, he said that he would charge us a lot more than if we just go through our membership within North Regional Central Planning Commission. So I'm working with them on both. We've got a plan. I do have Brian Foster's documents to me. He gave it to me on Friday. I will email you those, but I will be presenting it next council meeting.
So is the deadline doable then?
Yes, we've got a plan, and North Regional Central Planning Commission, Deb is who I talked to. She seems really confident that we'll get it done.
Because that's what, $1.5 million?
$2.6 million.
$2.6 million relief, that's a lot of money.
Yep.
For them to give up for us.
So I'm just, I'm on it. I don't drop the ball on stuff like that, so I'll get it done. But as long as the resources that I rely upon don't. Circle C paving, we didn't update it because of the economy and the current growing season. I wasn't able to procure the funding that I was hoping for from Ellsworth Co-op. They had to drop out because of budget constraints. So we redistributed those projects to Troy has a list and he just instead of doing it for the co-op for the rec center, we just reapplied the same coverage to the streets on this list. And so there was a difference. They offered us a discount. There was a difference of about $1,000. I just wanted to make you aware of that, the updated quote that I'll be paying out. You originally approved back in April for $56,453.90. The new amount, which includes additional roads that we didn't have on the original proposal, would be $57,838. I don't think I need approval for that, but at least when I annotated and just so you know what I'm up to. We have a total of about 62,000 in the, or 60,000 in the account. I checked with Angela this morning, and we should have another quarterly distribution. So in terms of that account, we'll be fine.
Very good. Anything else?
I'm pretty sure I've got some things, but I can't.
We can swing back around if you need to.
Do a motion to approve going up this amount just for the sake of the auditors. Angela said they audit our minutes.
They do.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we extend the Circle C paving update quote from $56,453.90 to $57,838.
I'll second that. All right, Councilor Panzer has made a motion to up the Circle C paving amount from $56,453.90 up to $57,838. Councilor Renard has seconded that motion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Anything else, Mariana and Dustin? All right, City Council, Tyler, do you have anything?
The only thing I got that maybe we could look into is we've got the side by sides and golf carts, you can tag them and drive them. And I was just wondering, like, to maybe make more, I can't remember what you had to have to be able to get the tag to do it. Wasn't it like 4 or 5 different things you had to prove to do it?
It's in it's specific to, I think it's 10.26.20.
Cause I've talked to a lot of people and they would do it. I mean, they would pay, I don't even know what it costs. The yearly fee, you gotta have a flag or something. There was something in insurance.
You had to have insurance.
But there was something else. Didn't you have to go to the county and get something too?
I think you have to go to this police department, and Deanne has a permit that you fill out. Is that right?
Yeah, but I think you have to go to the county too or something.
So golf carts, according to 10.26.02, it's all there. I can mail it to you.
Yeah, that'd be. I was just, cause I know there's something in there and people are like, no, I'm not doing that, just to drive. But I think we can get more people maybe to do it.
Yeah.
But it was something that you had to go to the county, I think, and maybe you had to pay taxes to the county to get the sticker or something. Why do we gotta do that?
I don't see that here, but I'll send it
No,
to you.
maybe it ain't. I don't know.
I think the fee goes to the police department for the tag that you're talking about.
Yeah,
The main thing is that they do have to have a flag, I know,
flag.
and I believe that mirrors, lights, basically making it where it's visible or where they can see.
And the golf carts, you can't drive at night, right? Even if you have lights and blinkers and stuff and brake
I
lights.
think if you have lights and brake lights, and all you can.
You can't.
I think so.
See that, and I think that's how it should be, but I don't know if it is or not. I think you might get more people to do it.
You also need liability insurance. That's-
And then, okay, yeah, insurance.
Which
So
I
then
think
maybe
that's
I
where
was
some
telling
of the price
people,
comes
I
from.
thought you had to go to the county or something. You know?
I could use an education on golf carts too.
So what's the fee? Isn't it $25 a year, or what is it?
I'd have to look.
Oh, we can look into it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'll present you the information this evening, or tomorrow on the,
Anything else, Tyler?
No, that's all I got.
Okay. All right, Counselor Hanson, do you have anything?
I just had a question, so like the water meter covers, the little reader things.
Yep.
Walking, I'm noticing that a lot of people are hitting them with their mowers and they're not on top of the meters. I've seen a couple. Who fixes that? Who's responsible?
we are. And the lids, housing.
Okay, do we need to like remind people though to not run your mower over the top of the water meter?
I suppose that's a presumption, but reminders are always good.
But I just don't wanna see us having to be replacing those things, you know, a handful of them every season. Because people are just running their mowers over the top of their water meters.
Or if they, maybe you get find broken one, could you put one of the lids on it?
Yeah, good.
You know, everyone that's busted, just put a lid that you can't hit it. Maybe.
Oh, the one that has the,
They do lids.
I'd have to order more, but.
You know, maybe as we would have to come back,
Yeah.
something gets hit.
Or if the homeowner hits it repeatedly, then they have to go purchase the new lid. Put on the new style lid, if they want to go over the top of it. And again, getting back to our budget thing, little things that, okay,
That's it.
Okay. All right, Don, do you have anything?
yeah, a couple of things, I guess I kind of disagree with the city's insurance on the Jeff May situation. And have we heard anything on the Keith Brooding situation?
I know that the insurance adjuster has been in contact with Mr. Bruning and the city staff last week. They don't know what the current disposition is. I can check into that for you.
Okay,
Don, what is the Keith Brooding?
Keith Brooding evidently, sewer backed up in his basement. At the same time, we were draining the water to swimming pool, doing some maintenance,
Okay.
and the sewage backed up into his basement. Jeff May's complaint is that he found a brick in the sewer line when they went to repair it. And the insurance company said they're not responsible for that brick in the sewer line. And I'm saying, yeah, we're paying insurance, why isn't that being covered? But then I also talked to a plumber, and he said most people realize that if they're in an area where they have problems, they should put in a backflow preventer on their sewer. So that's something we need to let people know, that there are backflow preventers out there to keep that from happening. And then also I'd like to go into the executive session after the meeting with attorney Line Privilege on some things.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
All right, Council President Jessica Coates, do you have anything?
I don't have anything.
Okay, that leaves me, and then we'll go into executive session. We've got to protect Douglas from truck traffic. We've talked about this. Got a brand new, really beautiful looking main street. It's gonna be heartbreaking when people are looking at their Google navigation and they just start driving through it. So I think that'll fall on you, Chief. I mean, we just got it finished, what, 2 or 3 days ago, and I've seen people, you know, and they're being guided in here and different things like that. So I don't know what we could do. I do know just from talking to somebody in the trucking industry, they talk. So Jake braking and all this stuff, they're in communication, they know what they can do here and they know what they can't do. So we need to send a signal that they can't do it. You know, it's one thing was all broken up, but it's nice now, so we need to protect it. So, and that's all I had. I didn't have anything else.
Mr. Weigel, he checked into it with the state of Kansas. That is a highway going through Ellsworth, and we have no jurisdiction on that highway to control trucks. State highway,
Nothing we can do.
nothing we can do.
They can just come right through.
They come through. It's recommended that they use the truck route, But as far as the police department, you might find that out for sure, but that's what Sergeant Michael come up with, that we cannot enforce that on a public highway go as of 8th Street.
Yeah, we can't put a weight limit on it, with the speed, which we limit that because it's a state highway.
Yeah.
We do occasionally get more, I don't know, it doesn't get speed on, so we get sometimes the state pitches in more for maintenance than it would otherwise because it's a state highway, so that's the flip side, but yeah.
And in fairness to Dan, you were on vacation when we discussed this thing, because we talked about it. And Sergeant Weigel gave us reports saying there's nothing I can do.
Okay.
So I think you were gone during that
Okay.
time.
Well, it's gonna be sad when that.
Yeah, it is a little sad.
Cracks and you're like, oh, but, you know.
On the other hand, the state's paying for most of it.
Right, yeah, you're right.
So you gotta take one with the other.
Yeah.
One thing Jeff pointed out is that once 156 opens up, it's going to decrease the amount of truck traffic we have coming down 14.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, because they'll come off I-70, not come down. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that might. Ask Monty West how much traffic he has for this out there. They're gonna be law.
You ever driven on 111?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's awful.
And he said that Jake breaks every night. Coming down to that stop
Well,
sign.
they washed that corner out, and then they go to 20, and it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad.
all right, so we're ready to go to executive session? Should call, yeah, sounds like.
How much time do we need for the first one?
Just mine,
No, I think Patrick has one.
but Patrick, you have one too?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm thinking 10, I think we're gonna have a series of different topics in different executive sessions.
I think mine will last 5 minutes. That's the most.
You docs first, or?
No, make me.
I see 10 minutes sometime tonight.
You wanna just think-
I make a motion to go into executive session, non-elected personnel with legal counsel present,
With the governing body.
governing body,
That's fine.
and also Miranda and Dustin could stay,
And their city attorney.
and city attorney.
And what time did you say we're coming out?
5 minutes, so it'll be, I can't see the
Seven
clock.
hundred.
Not go longer because it's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's go 10 minutes. Let's go 10 minutes.
Because it always does.
6:06. I'll second it.
All right, council managers made a motion to go to executive session for attorney-client privilege. From 6:56 until 7:06, 10 minutes for the governing body, deputy city clerk, city administrator, and city attorney. All right. Anybody against that? All right, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. We'll be on executive session, 10 minutes.
I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting this evening.
Councilor Panzer has made a motion to adjourn, and Councilor Coates has seconded that motion. Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.
I want to get in front of Darcy.
Listen, actually, I have to talk to you.